think it's the first one is Aegis Turtle. It's a blue 0/5. Not a wall, not a good. Blue in this set really doesn't seem like it's looking for this. It's also
not really.
like I was looking at blue and it's not crazy grindy. I think like there is not much card draw in blue. There is the Think Twice, which can draw you cards,
There's an
right?
uncommon, draw 3.
The uncommon, yeah, but I don't like to think.
Uncommons are just commons now, Lola. Get up with the times. They put 5 uncommons in packs now.
Yeah, but there's more of them, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. There is more of them. There is more of them. So individual uncommons, you're gonna see on it's similar. It's similar to before. Same like there is less commons, so you're gonna see them similar to like you did before. And there is like it really doesn't feel grindy. Blue really doesn't feel that grindy to me. So I hate this. I'm gonna just give it a D-. It's not unplayable. It's only 1 mana, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with D- or F.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sideboard this in against Gruul sometimes and stuff. And try to shell up, But yeah, I'm with you. D- is fine. Oh yeah, can you change my view so I can see the blue cards? I know you did this yesterday. I don't know how to do it. Maybe.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm doing it.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, that one. Okay. Oh yeah, you have my stream open. I thought you meant.
Yeah.
meant the tier list. The
tier list. Yeah, there we go. Boom. What was the name of that turtle? Sorry, I can see the set number.
Aegis Turtle.
Right, 150.
I can read the next one. Fleeting Distraction. For blue, it's instant target creature gets -1/-0 until end of turn. Draw a card. Nice with Balmor. Actually, fine because we have a common. We're gonna get to that a little bit later. It's gonna be the last card. We have a common Serpent, which is a 5/5 with Ward 2. I think it's Ward 2. That gives you. That costs 1 less for every instant or sorcery in your graveyard, which this is gonna love. That deck is gonna love that. -1/-, so very hard to win combat with that. Very hard. So we had some sets with -2. That was nice. We had some sets with -3, -4. Usually you needed something. You needed something else, like a wizard, to be -4. But that really does win combat, and when it doesn't, gains you maybe a little bit of life, maybe just cycles, and that's fine. But this one works well with it, so I'm okay with it, but nothing that special.
Yeah.
Triggers your second draw.
I think it supports some synergies in this set, like you said. It's never that bad. You're going to be able to cycle it a lot. When this wins a combat, it's insane.
Yeah.
Blue isn't trying to really do that, though. A lot of the creatures have more power, more toughness than power, in general.
Mm-hmm.
So they struggle, killing the opponent's creatures in combat because they don't have enough power. Not that they don't survive the combat necessarily. So, but the fact that this is like playing into other synergies and stuff, I'm gonna play this card a lot. Like,
yep.
Most of the time, most of the copies I get are going to end up going in my deck. So it gets a bump from that just because it cycles and contributes to synergies. I don't know. Like I'm going to say a C, but a C-, something like that. I don't think it's a D or anything like that. I think I'm going to play in a lot of my blue decks, and my blue decks are going to have, like you said, the terrors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to be on a C-. Usually I would give it low grade, but there is not many of these effects low cost instant
the
cycle
spells
cards.
thing is not. Oh, sorry, I switched cards.
What am I saying?
The spells stuff is not very well supported, and this is one of the key things you need to get for terror to be good. So,
and terror is great. So C-, it's you're gonna need it for those decks. If there was better things, lower grade, but C- is fine.
Exactly. All right, Witness Protection. 1 blue mana for an aura. Enchanted creature loses all abilities. Is a green and white citizen creature with base power and toughness 1/1, named Legitimate Business Person. Yeah, I don't like these cards. I never do like these cards. Leaving something in play. This doesn't discount counters. So it's not like a real, like, people always try to card these. Like, I was much lower on the last version of this card than most people. Despite it being the best for the one that made an O2 from the last set, Dustmorn, I forget the name of it, but I didn't like that card nearly as much as most people because there's equipment, there's +1/+1 counters. These are all like things that are pretty prevalent in our game today, and so this doesn't quite do it what you want it to do.
Yep.
It's like, to me, it's a D minus, I guess. I wouldn't quite call it an F, but I never want to put this card in my deck.
I'm just gonna give it an F.
Yeah, totally reasonable.
The reason why Unable to Scream was good in the last set, in Duskmorn, first, okay, it's a 0/2, so it actually cannot help in double blocks or single blocks. The other reason is because Blue had incredible card advantage, incredible. And then it was so nice to have the 1 mana card, which just like stops the opponent, slows down the opponent. Still, 0/2 was not good if you were attacking a lot. It's just like now they can chump a lot of times, so that's not the greatest effect then. But and also there was Eerie. But the biggest deal is amazing card during draw, amazing on common and especially on uncommon. But both mostly like really good. And then like that 1 mana was so nice to sneak in when you draw 2 cards, and for the 5th mana you can sneak in and use for that, or the 6th mana depending where you were. 1/1 is completely different. 1/1 is a real creature, and blue doesn't seem like it's drawing that many cards. Yeah, I hate this. F. I don't think I ever put this in my deck. What's so funny?
No, just I like your hate for that card.
Next up, Elemental Adept for 1 and a blue. It's a 2/1 with flash, prowess. That's actually kind of cool with the -1/-0.
Yeah, you can get people with that.
Oh.
They attack with their 2/2, you just get to ambush it.
I'm okay with this one.
Yeah, it's not like it is a good Coral Merfolk. It's not groundbreaking. It's not great or anything. It's pretty cool. It's tricky. There is that uncommon that draws cards equal to your wizards. It's going to play. This is like the 2-drop you're probably going to be looking for in your Balmor decks, right? Because you're going to be trying to cast a bunch of spells. Notably, it's nice with Think Twice as well. You can win a combat with Think Twice. Like, that's the kind of thing I look for. Like, getting extra value out of my cards I'm already going to be playing, and I'm doing it with my 2-drop Curve Filler. So this is solid. It's not like, you're not first picking this card or anything, but you're going to be happy in a lot of your, heavier, like in your blue-white decks, it's going to look a lot worse because you're going to be playing a lot more flying creatures. You're going to be trying to load up the battlefield. But in your blue-red decks, this is going to be pretty good. Your blue-black decks is going to be pretty good. I think I would give this a C-.
I'm gonna be on a C. I think this is the 2-drop for blue. For a lot of blue decks.
I know the next one, but
just because I'm giving it a C, I don't think it would be great in today's limited, but just comparing it to other 2-drops.
Yeah. You
think the next one is better? Well, go ahead.
No, I don't think it's better. I said the only other 2-drop I remember from the top of my head is this one, the Strix Lookout, which is a cool card. I don't know how good it is, but it's a 1/2 flying vigilance for 1 and a blue, and you can loot for blue 1, tap it. Yeah, the looting on this is just too expensive for 1. Like, this reminds me of Pilferer Hawk, right? That was a card in a sometimes slower format, and it wasn't great. I always like, want the looter cards to be good, but like the mana you have to spend for them is just not great. This will be good in blue-white. This will be a decent 2-drop because, like we said, the white 2-drops are too bad. It'll go with the eagle. It'll wear counters well because it has vigilance, and but it's not a good card. It's a D for me, maybe D+.
I think one of these you like in every blue deck, but it's so easy to get.
I don't think I'll ever play this in like my blue-red Balmor decks. I just won't want it.
That is true, but it also carries the pick.
Yeah, it does carry the pick. Like, if you The higher you take the pick, the higher you should be taking cards like this. I agree.
Yeah, so it does carry the pick. I'm gonna be taking it very highly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever want a lot of these, so I'm gonna give it D as well.
D?
D seems easy to get.
Exactly.
Run away together for 1 and blue. Instant. Choose 2 creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. What are you returning from yourself? Nothing really. Right?
In blue, I don't know if there's anything really that's
Yeah.
like a value generating thing. There's like the cat that draws a card and stuff like that. There's some stuff. Yeah. In general, this effect is the first time this card was printed, it was excellent, for the record. But ever since then, it's been bad. The first time this card was printed was in Ravnica, original Ravnica, where there was a lot of like FTKs flying around, Steam Cord Weird and stuff. This set doesn't have that. Eldraine didn't really have that.
Eldraine kind of had the adventure, right?
Yeah, but that was like really slow and clunky. I don't remember that coming up very often.
When you were playing Mill with that 1-drop when Arena was broken.
Yeah. It was good with that deck. That is true. That was a different world. We were drafting with bots.
Yeah. That was man, that was the only set that I actually stopped drafting. That was because it was like I was winning a ton, but it was the worst. It was like
you just drafted that deck every time the bots.
Like you could have.
It was.
I was drafting some other decks a few times, and I was like, man, why am I drafting other decks? Like it feels so wrong because you're gonna win so much with that one deck. And
I felt so unlucky whenever the bots were drafting blue. It's like, come on.
I don't remember that ever happening. I actually switched to Hearthstone Battlegrounds for that one. I just couldn't. I couldn't anymore. It was the only time. I was at 5 years ago.
I actually mostly played that game in paper, that format in paper, so it wasn't the same experience for me because there was a PT.
Everybody said that it was a good set, and every time Eldraine comes back, I'm so scarred by that I can't play it. Because
if it's not drafting with bots, I would do it. Yeah. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But yes, the drafting with the bots was awful in that set. It was especially bad.
I'm so glad we're not drafting against the bots anymore. It's so much more interesting. It's the meta auto correcting itself. It's beautiful. Yeah, I don't like this. I just don't like this. I don't see why.
I'm gonna play it sometime. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not happy with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on a D.
It's a D.
D.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay effect. It's really nice, like when you're saving your creature, right? That's really nice.
Yep.
Or if the opponent is stacking counters on something, that's kind of cool, equipping something. So it could be okay. Next up.
Think twice. Blue and a colorless, instant draw card, flashback, blue 2. This is like, not great. This is like kind of the card draw or one of the card draw pieces in blue where you can get up cards. It does synergize with prowess. That's kind of what it's supposed to do. It's nice with Balmorph, for instance. Puts an instant in the graveyard for the terror, though it's an inefficient, expensive one, and you can't even flash it back before you cast the terrors, which is a downside. But I think it is kind of going to be the glue to some of the blue spells matter, blue-red specifically, spells matters decks. Blue-black even, I think, will be a little bit, you're going to mill cards to try to achieve threshold. You're occasionally going to get this in your graveyard for free. So it's nice for that. It's a, like, I'm going to play this card. I know I am. I'm going to be taking it, not aggressively, but like in the middle of the pack, I'm going to be pretty happy to get it because it's going to support my blue well. So I'd give it a C, but it's not because it's in a vacuum a good card, but because it synergizes with what's going on.
Yeah. I want to see as well. Like works with a little bit of draw too. Works with the spells matter. When you flashback it, like Serpent counts spells in your graveyard, and flashback counts cards in your graveyard. So when you flashback it, like it's not that great, but you can get it in the graveyard like a good amount of
Yeah,
times with
you
the
get
right
it in the
deck.
graveyard, and then you play your terrors out, and then you start drawing your extra cards after.
In red, you can just like sometimes you're gonna be able to discard it with
There's
what's the
also a
name?
bit of a like you can
Thrill's
draw a
possibility?
second card, I think, in this set. So you can trigger that. You can trigger those effects twice with this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's like a
Kind of expensive to play it from the graveyard. It's expensive to play it for both sides, but I think it works in this set, so I'm gonna C as well. I kind of hope this is gonna be better than a C, because then that's at least for me. Like
yeah. When this card is good, Magic's fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Erudite Wizard for 2 and a blue. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's 3 mana, 2/3. I don't know why, but I thought this thing had flying.
Oh no. This would be really good at flying.
Yeah. I don't know. When I read it, I was like flying. I guess blue 3-drop. Not big fan. Not big fan. This is very weak stat line.
This is a blue-red card. You're a very heavy spell decks. This is curve filler in your blue-red deck. You're probably never going to play it in blue-white. You're never going to play it in blue-green. You're never going to play it in. You might play it in blue-black sometimes, but
blue-black, yeah,
it's not going to be still rarely. I think it's specifically a card that you're like, all right, I'm a blue-red player. I can always get this thing as my 3-drop. It'll go with Thrill of Possibilities, Think Twice, that kind of stuff. The stuff that you already want anyways, Fleeting Distraction, all that kind of stuff. It'll go nice into that shell, but it'll only really be playable in that situation. So personally, I give it a D. But
D, same D. It could be fine, like fine-ish. In some decks it's gonna be okay, I guess, but it's a 3-drop. The thing about like these effects, when you have them on a 2-drop, it is so much easier to double spell and put a lot of them in. But 3-drop, you can't have too many 3-drops in, especially when they require help.
Totally agree. All right, we got Refute. Blue 1, instant, counter target spell, draw a card, then discard a card. So cancel with a loot attached to it. So that works sort of with the card we just previewed. Not really,
sort of.
2 cards. Yeah. I guess that was kind of the idea. If you cast them your own turn, you'll at least get that. But I don't know. Cancels are always kind of like fine. You usually never looking to play them. I think in something like blue-red spells, you're going to be pretty happy to play this though, because you're going to want to counter literally anything on turn 3. Just to get a card in your graveyard to be casting those terrors, and that's like really where I would get value out of this card is if I'm playing a lot of the Tolarian terrors. Again, any deck that's trying to curve out, you don't want cards like this unless you're specifically targeting like it's going to be a great sideboard card in certain types of matchups, but in general, you don't want to play these unless it is cohesive with the rest of your deck. You have a lot of flash creatures, something like that. I'm gonna like the loot is nice, but it's not, it's not getting me extra cards. So I'm just gonna give this I guess I'd give it a D+. I think, because I'm never unhappy playing this card, but I'm never really looking to play it either, unless I'm specifically in as it.
It is a pretty good cancel.
It is, yeah.
But it's still cancel. I still keep up that 3 mana, and maybe you can't use it. But there is that 2/1 with flash. There's Think Twice, so you can do something.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to like not get completely punished by holding it.
And if blue, like counter spells in limited, in my opinion, always work better if blue is like good at tempo, right? And then if you take the board advantage, and then you don't get punished by opponent playing nothing because you still have the board advantage, right? That's huge. I don't know how good blue is at that. Well, it doesn't feel like it's that great at taking board advantage.
Yeah, any good 2-drops.
Yeah, but that's huge. Like, what was it? Midnight Hunt, I think, where blue was kind of good at taking board advantage, and then the counter spell also made the 2/2 decay zombie. That was huge. But it
Oh
was
yeah.
it was also really nice. Like when opponent plays nothing, you're fine. You wasted 3 mana, but you're still winning.
Yep.
But counter spells are always so much worse if you need to get back in the game or if you need to affect the board. Because then if they don't play anything, especially if they can do something on your turn, it's like you get so punished. It's like you're still losing and losing even more probably. So I'm okay with the D plus just because the looting is really nice effect on this. I can see this being better.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be like it's a C in a blue-red deck. I think because you're going to be able, like you're going to have burst lightning, keep the board clean, and you're really looking to like bridge into that terror and kind of but in
Exactly.
basically every other archetype, I'm not going to want to play this card.
I don't know. You can also discard Think Twice with this. That's really nice.
Yeah, I guess. It's like it's fine. It is some upside, but it's not generally going to be looking to do that. I don't think. A lot of the times you'll have a worse card than a cycler.
Yeah, true.
At the stage of the game, you want to cast this anyways.
Next up, we got a reprint, Mocking Sprite for 2 and a blue. It's a 2/1 flyer, and instants and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. So, works nice with Think Twice. But I mean, nice is like you need other things to make Think Twice good, right? So because like paying 3 mana to draw 2 cards it's nice in for 1 and 2 to pay for it. The problem is the stat line. Like it is a 3 mana 2/1 flyer. That is a big problem, especially with like White having so many flyers. White having 2/3 flyer for 3, 3/3 flyer for 4, 1/1 flyer for 1. That's a big problem. Blue having a 1/2 flyer. I mean, it's not great, but it is a 1/2 flyer for 2 with vigilance. So not a big fan.
This just gets by any other flyer, and its effect honestly isn't just not good enough.
Yep. Especially with a 1 mana card that draws your card and gives -1/-0, doesn't do anything there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's like again, it's like I guess directed at the blue-red deck. You can start chaining Thrill of Possibilities or something. You can cast your Burst Lightning with Kicker a little cheaper, but no, this is a card I'm basically never going to play unless I'm forced to. Need a curve filler or something, and so it's I don't know a D-.
D- for me as well. I just don't see it even in the deck that. Like you might say this, I'm thinking Sorcerer deck is gonna be nice. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be nice there. Like, it really doesn't. It feels like okay, maybe.
No. That's like what it was designed for, but it's not. It's not going to be good there. It's just kind of there.
So I don't see the home for this at all.
Yeah.
But the next one.
The next one's nice. The Big Fin Bouncer. Oh, the picture's even sick, huh? Blue 3 for a 3/2. When it enters, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. So can't do any kind of bouncing your own creature stuff. Sorry, I just sneezed. A Mana War effect. Not a terribly statted Mana War. Did we have this card before? I feel like we did, but I don't remember it.
Exactly this one? No. There was in Dominaria there was 5 mana, but it became 4 mana if you have a wizard.
Ah, yes, that's what that's maybe the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard for a card like this to be bad, and I don't know. This to me so far looks like the best blue common we've seen for sure.
Yes.
It's just a great card you're going to want in every blue deck. I guess trying to compare it to the other commons in the set. It's probably just a solid B.
B-, B, somewhere there. I think I'm gonna start it as a B-, but I can see it going up. It is the best blue common for sure.
Yep.
And another 4-drop for that 4-drop slot, so might have to go down on the white 4-drops. This is it is not a Mana War, right? The Mana War being 3 mana 2/2 means that you always win the tempo race in the early game. Like, always.
Yeah.
This one is 4, but it's still a great effect. It's really good with pick being here. Because I'm going to be playing a ton of it. I think a lot of people are going to be playing a ton of it. It's really good with +1/+1 counters being here. Because, well...
Oh, yeah.
You can just make them chill with it.
Why is this good with pick? You're saying it's good against pick, right?
Yeah, it's good against pick, because... you can, I mean, it's good if you have pick, right? Because when they keep up that one blocker, you just ramp. But it's more like it's really nice with. It's really nice against pick, because now they have to equip it for 1 again. Yeah, B minus. This is I don't think we're gonna see a better blue common.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Next up we got Uncharted Voyage for 3 and a blue. Instant, target creature's owner puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library. Is that differently worded than before? And Surveil 1, is right?
Surveil 1. I don't know if it's worded differently. It certainly does the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worded differently.
This is never bad.
This is a classic set skeleton. We're going to see it for at least another couple of years, I imagine, in basically every set. It's the equivalent of having murder in black. You're going to always see something like that. I mean, it's always solid, always fine. I'm not first picking this, but I am very happy when I wheel it. So I'm trying to think, this card gets worse the lower, however the limited meta is, the lower the curve the worse this card is. But again, this card gets a blue-red bump. It's going to be, one of your only ways to interact with big creatures in blue-red once they've resolved. And it's also going to help with the terror in the graveyard. It's going to help with the terror, because one of the problems with terror is they can just double block it or whatever, and you need to have some kind of instance and tricky stuff to be able to punish them when they do that. Just a solid card. Nothing special. I'd give it a C.
C, same. Solid. This is the blue interaction spell. By the way, I have loved blue having good removal in Duskmourn. I would like to see that in more sets.
So here's the issue with it. I understand why they don't do it more. It's because blue, I mean, my secret with any limited set is I start off by drafting blue, because I think people both almost always undervalue it.
Yep.
And misunderstand it. And it's also generally the way to be the most consistent. Drawing extra cards, the surveil, the selection, all that stuff makes it easier to play earlier in the season or whatever. And they don't do it because if you give blue good removal and good card draw and effects like Mana Wars, it really has no flaws. And I think every color needs to have some kind of flaw so that you're drawn into another color to kind of solve that problem, right? Solve those issues that colors have. So I understand why they don't give blue good removal. And I think this is why we see this card so much. I think this is kind of the ideal solution for that. You give every blue set a Grip Tide, then it doesn't have a permanent answer to everything, but
it has interaction.
Kind of plan around it, and I think that's a good place for blue.
We got a reprint on the next one.
From a set I played very little of. A very recent reprint. We got, Light Shell Duo. Blue 3, 3/4 prowess. When it enters, Surveil 2. I have no past experience to draw from this, because I probably only had this card once. Because I only drafted that set 3.
But it doesn't matter. It's a completely different set.
Yeah, no, I know. It actually seems if I remember, it was pretty bad in the original set, but it seems like it's okay here. The Surveil has a little more value because of the terrors, putting random spells in the graveyard. You can find Think Twice as a flashback spell.
Threshold.
In the graveyard. Threshold is another thing that's different here than it's been in other sets. So yeah, it's got a lot more utility than it did before as just kind of an otter. just you're not looking at just the creature type. Still, it's not a card I'm valuing high. You're going to get them, whatever. It's I don't know. I was going to say D, but maybe it's a D plus, because it does help with some synergies. But again, I'm not looking for this to be my 4-drop.
I think if the blue didn't have the other 4-drop that bounces, this would be better. But
yeah, I agree.
There's a problem. You're drafting blue early. Sure, maybe later you don't have a 4-drop. You're kind of okay. I have a room for 4-drops, but drafting it early is man. If I take these, whenever I take the 3/2 that bounces, I'm never gonna play this. I'm never ever gonna play this over the 3/2.
Yeah.
So that's why D plus is okay. I'm gonna start as a D plus as well, but it could be lower. It's not bad on its own. It's just so overshadowed.
And I think this is weird because I think my really good blue-red decks, the ones I want to draft, this card's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
When I'm like really low on creatures in general, I'm gonna be really excited to have this. But
Easy to win combat with a -1, -0.
hi, Annie.
Right?
What? Sorry.
Easy
my
to
wife came
win
in.
combat with a -1, -0.
Yes, it's great with fleeting distraction. Yeah.
But also it's a 3/4, so they can just say, "Oh, I'm not gonna block your your 4-drop because it's 3/4, and I deal more damage with my 4-drops probably."
Mhm.
Icewind Elemental is a 4 and a blue flying elemental with a 3/4 stat line. When this creature enters, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay, we are back to 5 mana 3/4 flyers. Not a big fan, but it's a pretty nice effect. Completely free loot.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of the Sphinx that was like by the end of the set, Dominaria. It was
One of the
widely
best
considered
blue
the
commons.
best common, right? Cloud
Yeah.
Reader Sphinx.
Scry for 2,
Obviously,
right?
we're in a new world now. There's there's a blue card right underneath that's probably better. Cloud Reader Sphinx, but yeah, I mean, like this is again like a card it has some soft synergies, right? It's a well-designed card. It contributes to the blue-white flying theme. It does the draw an extra card thing. It's going to discard like once you cast this, if you have a land in your hand, it's pretty much useless. So you want to dig through that, get rid of that land, try to turn it into a spell. I don't know. It's fine. There's
not
other
playing
creatures
6 drops,
that
I
are
think.
at it at 5 mana that are flyers, and that's a problem. Like I guess Dominaria had Sorry Angel too, but blue wasn't. Blue was really good in that set, which is another reason Cloud Reader Sphinx was good. I don't know.
And the set was so like flyers killed the opponent. Bread was real there. Like evasion killed.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
And
it was
3/4
also
was
like,
big. 3/4
was big. Set, Yep. I don't think it's not even nearly as big for the set. Again, we have ferocious in this set.
With +1/+1 counters as well.
Their 3-drops are attacking into this freely. So yeah. I don't know. I guess I'd say D+. It's kind of in the same category as the other card. I could see like some decks is going to be a little better than that. It's going to be a C or C-. But
I'm gonna be on a D. I don't know if you want. I think a lot of my blue decks are, especially blue-red. I think especially blue-red. It's gonna be like maybe I don't want 5-drops at all.
I guess even in blue-white, this isn't going to be that ideal. White doesn't have any 5s, right? Other than Sarah Angel.
Yeah. There it makes sense.
Yeah.
And you have the 2 mana 1/1s that draw you cards, so still not a big fan.
No, it's much worse than they used to be.
But sugar on top.
Tolarian Terror. Blue 6, 5/5, cost 1 less for each instant source in your graveyard, ward 2. I want to hear your thoughts on this first, because I actually think I'm lower on this card than you.
Oh.
For this set.
Yeah, I loved it in
it was obscene.
In Dominaria United. But well, we had in Dominaria United, we had a 2 mana look at top 5 cards and pick 1, so at instant speed, so that was really nice. That was huge thing for it.
Which card are you talking about? I don't even remember what you're talking about.
Oh, what was the name? Everyone knows the name. 2 mana, look at the top 5 cards, put 1 in your hand.
Like an impulse effect?
Impulse, yeah, impulse.
It wasn't. It was top 4 cards. Okay, it was actual impulse. Yes.
It was an actual impulse. Okay. I thought it was top 5. Okay, it was top 4. So
no, stop. Yeah, we had impulse. We had a lot more support for it. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. The 2 mana draw 1 card is different. It's not as good. It is something to discard. The 1 mana -1, -0 and draw card is also not as good, I think. But I still think this is great. I'm not gonna go into the big rating for this one.
This is the premium top end for blue. I will not at common. I will not dispute that. Yeah.
In red
But
blue. In red blue, like if you're playing white blue, this I don't want.
Yeah, no. White blue, you're gonna white blue, you're gonna probably play that. You're gonna want the 3/4 over it. In red blue and blue black.
Is where that's where it's gonna be like a big rating. But in white blue, I'm not gonna want it. In green blue, I'm not sure if I want it in green blue as well.
Yeah, it's gonna depend on the texture of your deck in green blue. I could see some like blue-green ramp decks with Grow the Ashes that are a little bit more splashy, where this gets a lot better.
So should we give a ceiling to this card because it's really good in some decks and really crappy in some decks?
Yeah, it's kind of like a gold card. You kind of gotta read it in the same way, but I don't know. I have a grade in mind.
I'm on a C plus.
Yeah, that's what I was at. C plus. I was gonna say.
But ceiling?
It's gonna be a B.
B.
Blue red.
Yeah. B ceiling.
Yeah.
Not a B plus ceiling, but a B definitely.
Yeah.
All right, we are on to the blue uncommons. And we're gonna start with an offer you can't refuse. For a blue, counter target non-creature spell, its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Why would you refuse it? You can't refuse it because it's so good. It's not threatening at all. This is always funny. This card is complete garbage, unplayable.
I don't know why they keep printing this card. This is like a commander card, right? People play this in Commander or something.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why they're putting it in the set, I guess, as a gateway into whatever.
If it,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
an F.
this is an F, and it would probably be an F if it didn't make treasure tokens. Maybe not because it costs 1.
If it didn't make treasure tokens, it would be great.
In limited?
It would be like a C plus.
Actually, 1 mana is so nice. Yeah,
Yeah, one mana counter.
1 mana is so
yeah,
nice. Negate is I think negate is unplayable. What do you think about negate? 2 mana negate in limited. I think it's unplayable.
In most sets.
In most sets, yeah.
It's like, if you want me to give an overall limited grade negate, I would say it's a D. I'm not demoralized when it's in my deck, but I really only want to sideboard it in.
I'm demoralized. Anyways, just don't play this. It's an F. But actually, yeah, 1 mana negate would be kind of. It's so easy. 1 mana is so easy to keep up.
Not a printable card. You can't print that card. It would be too strong.
Yeah.
All right, we got Spectral Sailor. 1 blue, 1/1. Flash, flying. Blue 3, draw a card. Yeah, I don't know. I love this card. I love mana sinks that also are like, going to be played in most decks. Like, you can always cast this. Yeah, it's kind of low impact until you draw a card, but once you get into those grindy games, if this can trade with something your opponent has early in the game, which seems like there's enough stuff that's like 2/1 and 3/1, that if you look at your hand and you're like, all right, I'm not flooded, I'm not gonna run out of spells this game, I'll just trade this for their 3/1. I like it in those spots. Never gonna cut this card from a blue deck. It's not a bomb or anything. It's not something I'm taking over a good removal or anything like that. But I don't know. I'd give it a C plus.
I'm taking this over a good amount of removal. So obviously,
blue white.
Oh, blue white, yeah, blue white, yeah. Fuck, blue white, yeah. Blue white is beautiful. The reason is just like you can just ping them for 1/1/1 and then it's expensive, but it's really nice effect, like 4 mana draw card anytime, and it's on a flyer. Like, it's not the 1/1 that's gonna just do nothing. And there is a pick in the set.
Yeah, that is true. It does get the pick bump. Yeah.
Let's get a pick bump, blue white bump, and maybe have a lot of hitting lenses in blue green. I'm on a B minus overall for this one. I think it's amazing. Next up, Mischievous Mystic for 1 and blue. It's a flying 2/1. Okay, whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. There we go. We're getting to some crazy uncommons.
Yeah, this one's cracked.
Yeah. It's a 2 mana 2/1 flyer. That's kind of nice. Yeah.
Like, usually you get a 2 mana 2/1 flyer. It has a drawback, right? You like the last set, it comes into play tapped or can't block or whatever like that.
Uncommon. That's common. That's common, right?
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, that's what you're expecting out of your your filler ones. This one is not only can it block, it's creating a train of token.
Is it just a B plus?
Yeah, I would BB plus. Yeah, it's
BB
not a
plus,
bomb,
right?
Yeah,
I'm B plus. I'm on a B plus.
I think I would give it a B, but like, yeah, no B plus. If I'm giving like burst lightning a B or a B minus, then this is probably a B plus. Yeah, I like B plus.
Yeah, this is beautiful, beautiful. It basically means every card draw spell you have So 2/1 flyer is good on its own, right? Not broken, but it's good. And then it makes every single card draw spell or loot spell that you have, it makes it, moves it to a B grade, right? It becomes a B plus card. Like if Think Twice is gonna make you 1/1 two times, it's like a B plus. If the -1 -0 is gonna get you 1/1, it's a B plus. Everything is a B plus. That's the huge thing about it. And it's not like you're getting nothing.
Yeah, like its floor is good.
Oh, this one is interesting for this set.
Yeah. Like what I said with the Cathar Commando and stuff. Like I could see a little bit of a blue-white flash. There's a couple of flash creatures in white. But yeah, we got Brineborn Cutthroat, blue 1, 2/1 flash. Whenever you cast a spell during your opponent's turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This is a good 2-drop. Not a great 2-drop, but a good 2-drop. It's it's going to play best in mostly in blue, black, and blue, red. But like I said, there's some flash synergies in white as well. Likely at its worst in green, but still, like you're just always basically, if you have instants in your deck, you're always going to play this card.
And flash creatures.
And yeah, instants and/or flash creatures, correct. It's nice with Think Twice, trigger it multiple times. So, very, very solid card. I'm gonna give it a C+.
Yeah, I don't remember what was the last set we had it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was not very good in the last set. I agree.
But I do feel like this is the one for it. So no. C+. Yeah, C+ is good.
Yeah.
That's so much higher than what I gave it in that set, with whichever set it is. M20?
Yeah. It just
Holy, that was M20. That was a long time ago. Essence Scatter, oldie but goodie. For 1 and a blue, it's a counter target creature spell. It's always good.
Yeah, I mean, you're never like, so it's weird. I actually think making this an uncommon makes it worse, but it's the kind of card I like to like get a lot of and kind of sculpt the game plan around. It's not that saying that you can't do that, but you just have to look elsewhere to have that effect. But I've always loved Essence Scatter. I've been higher on it than most people most of the time.
Yeah, in some sets, it's. I was like, well, maybe not that great in this set, but it's always good. And the 2/1 flash, common creature in blue, really does a lot for it, right?
Yeah, it does, yep.
And I think Twice, I guess, but the 2/1 mainly, because you can just affect the board anyways.
I think Twice doesn't get you on board. Like
yes.
The flash, which is like where you get punished when you don't cast things. You're not really rewarded for casting a Think Twice when they don't cast a creature in this.
Exactly, my way of thinking, yeah.
You can spend your mana, so... Yeah, I don't. I guess B-, maybe C+. I'm in between those two. It's definitely not a B, but especially in like a best of one setting where you can't really fall behind and all that stuff. People don't.
I'm gonna be on a C+ for start, but it could go up to B-.
Yeah, I'll give it a B-, but I'm suspecting it might be a little worse than that. Especially, like I said, when this card's a common, you can just kind of get 2 or 3 of them and kind of like just plan for having that.
Yeah, the being uncommon is worse for your deck, but being uncommon is better because a little bit better when opponent is thinking about what to play around, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, am I really gonna play against Essence Scatter? It's an uncommon.
Cephalid Ink Mage. Blue 2, 2/2. When it enters, surveil 3, which is a big number. And threshold, this can't be blocked as long as there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard. So it's kind of a twist on Phantom Warrior with a little bit of a value. So like, I don't really like this card that much. And I'll tell you why. It's small statted. And the surveil on turn 3 is not that valuable, right? Like we actually had this discussion earlier, where Imperial Oath, like on turn 6, when you're scrying for 3, that's a big game because every land you see is worthless. When you're surveilling for 3 on turn 3, your lands are still kind of useful, and a lot of your spells are still kind of useful. It's kind of hard, you're not getting as much value surveilling as you would later in the game. So And then now we think about that. Okay, so what if we play this later in the game to get value out of Surveil? Well, then the creature sizing gets even worse, and we're not in that bread meta anymore, where it being unblockable when you cast it on turn 6 is all that valuable. So I'm a little lower on this card than maybe I should be. I don't know. I'll have to play a little with it. It really depends on how valuable. Like the one thing I think about this card that could be very good is the fact that it enables Threshold very well.
Yep.
And I'm not looking to enable it for itself as much as other cards. So that's where I would get the value out of this card.
It is a good 3-drop in late game, right? It's really good in late game.
Sort of. It depends on the state of the late game. If the game is kind of like the game would have to be very specifically both players have creatures in play and aren't attacking, right? Because this isn't hitting very hard. It's hitting for 2.
It's
So
it's a real
if it's
3,
one of
right?
those late games where you're drawing off the top of your deck, yes, it's pretty good because the Surveil is good. It being unblockable is kind of good, but I don't know. I just think like casting my 3-drop on turn 3, if it's not doing a lot for me, or if it's not doing as well as other 3-drops that are in commons, then I'm not that happy with it. So I don't know. I would give this probably just a C.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if it goes lower. Put it that way.
Yeah, same. C, but could be a C plus. It's gonna be better than basically any 3-drop in late game when you draw it, right?
Well, it depends.
Really? Like what 3-drop is gonna be better in late game?
Well, this is an uncommon. So are we talking about uncommons?
Okay.
Like the 3-2. No. The 3-2 is way better.
I mean the commons.
The commons, yes, no, it's going to be better than those, but the blue ones. But it's not really like a high ceiling. Like you have to compare it to other colors, and like just a lot of the times, I guess it's probably better than most of them in the late game, just because the Surveil is going to be good.
And as Siggy said, like Surveil is nice on turn 3. It's not bad, but it would be better just to draw a card as well most of the time. But it's like. It's not only that you need lands, like you're not sure what creatures you need. You're not sure what spells you need. When I don't think it's all. The big deal is not only okay. I'm on 6 mana. I don't need any more lands. Just remove those. That's one part. But the big part is I know what I need. Like I'm gonna remove non-lands because I know that they're not gonna be good for this board. When you play this in the developing phases, the Scry Surveil is like you're like I'm not sure how the board is going to progress from this. I don't know what opponent is going to play. That you're going to have a lot of times it's going to be correct to put something on top or to remove it, but after 2 turns you're going to realize, oh, that was wrong. But still, it was the correct play. So on turn 6 you're kind of 99% sure that you're making the correct choice.
Yeah, you're going to make those decisions much more informed and cleaner.
I can see it being like a C plus or something. There's a pick for unblockable. I don't know if that. Once you get threshold, probably doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's poorly statted later, but the Surveil is nice, right? So like drawing a 3-mana, 4/2 might be better if you're just strictly racing, but you are going to find more spells with it. So I guess it is better than other 3-drops, but it's not as good as the next 3-drop.
Yeah. Fabulum Trick for 2 and a blue. It's an instant. Create 2 1/1 flying creatures. When you do, tap target creature opponent controls. Wow. This doesn't seem like a Foundations card. It's
it works. It works in the set, I think. I think it's going to be a little bit weaker than it looks, actually.
I don't think so. Like 2 1/1 flyers is way better than
but there's more flyers in this set. Like white has like playable 3-drop flyers and stuff like that. There's like 1/2 vigilance and stuff. It's just like on turn 3 you're getting the 2 1/1s, and that's not ideally when you're playing this. You're playing this like
I think any turn is ideal.
Double spelling it on turn 5 or 6 is when you're going to really want to do this and start. But yeah, like like I said, it's definitely a great card. It's just I think the flyers are going to be bricked off a little more easier in this set than they have been in
I think
other
every
sets.
turn is ideal for this card.
I mean, I don't think you're going to want to play it on turn 3 that often. It's pretty bad on turn 3.
I don't think so. Like their 2-drop cannot attack, your 2-drop can attack.
Well, it doesn't stun.
Oh, it doesn't stun. I mean, what's wrong with me?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally read the card. I was about to give it a B plus. It doesn't
Yeah.
stun.
Yeah, if it had stun, it would be it would be disgusting. Yes,
Ah.
it doesn't stun. It only
Oh, so it is a foundations card. Okay.
yes.
That's what it said. It's also an instant. That's really nice. But I thought it was a.
Yeah, if it was an instant that stunned, it would be almost as good as like a Necrotal, right? Because it's taking a creature out of the game for a full turn, 2 turn cycles or something.
2 turns on the blocks, 2 turns on the attacks, whatever you choose. Man, I thought it was a B plus.
Yeah, no, it's lower than that. Yeah, when I first read it, I assumed that. We're programming it. There's so many words on cards now that we're just assuming how they filled them out at the end.
And I mean,
that's like a common problem.
In our defense, basically every card in blue that taps also stuns.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like they've made it kind of the rule, not the exception, right?
Yeah.
So now this is the exception: is it doesn't stun, and it looks a little bit worse.
I'm gonna be minus still.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean it's still gonna be like the fact this is a spell that goes to your graveyard for terror that gives it a big bump, I think, because you're going to be very excited to cast that. It's just going to make your other good blue commons better. It's going to make your cancels better. It's
and it's instant is huge that it goes in the graveyard, but also it's the easy way for maybe people that are having a hard time with this one is how to think about it. It's like it's a 3 mana make 2 1/1s and gain some life or deal some damage. Whatever it's better for you or what you can do. So like if this is if this was just 3 mana 1/1 gain some life, it would be amazing. If it was 3 mana make 2 1/1s and deal some damage, it would be amazing. So and that's what it's gonna be in basically every game.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be 1, it's gonna be more. So yeah, beautiful. What do you give it? I give it a B minus.
B minus as well. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to say.
I can see it being B, just a B.
Inspiration from Beyond, blue 2, mill 3 cards, return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand with flashback of 7. Man, that flashback cost is brutal.
It's brutal.
So this does enable Threshold.
Mm-hmm.
It gets you there while also getting you a card back. That's kind of nice. It's a sorcery, which I don't like.
I'm not sure why, but okay.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Oh, well, I'll tell you why. They don't want people to. They don't want ridiculous surprise threshold in a core set. That's why.
Okay.
They don't want you to just be like, oh, now my thing has threshold, and now you die, or like now your creature dies, and then newer players are like.
I mean, there's a 4 mana that instant that surveils, so. At common.
It only surveils 1 though.
No, it's 2. It's 2. That's 2, and this is 3. Right, you surveil 1 card in the graveyard, and the instant goes in the graveyard at instant speed.
Yeah. That put 2 cards. This will put as many as 4 in your graveyard, right? For threat, like, because you can not hit 1. Like, that is my guess as to why it's not an instant.
It's so bad if it's gonna be 4. It's so bad.
I mean, so I love cards like this. This one, they've kind of done everything they could possibly do to make it as bad as they possibly could. Is my issue. However, I'm still going to probably play with it in some decks. Like it's going to require that my deck has like blue-red, for instance. I'm going to want to be blue-red. I'm going to want a lot of burst lightnings. I'm going to need my instant or sorcery I'm bringing back to be extremely efficient, right? And again, it's just going to be to set up terrors. Like that's where I see the value in it, in like a very spell-heavy deck that just wants to cast spells, wants to trigger prowess, wants to whatever. But it's not a good card. I'm expecting to wheel it and getting it very late in packs, just because it's so it's a sorcery. The flashback cost is extremely inefficient. It's just not a good card. So I don't know. I guess I'll give it a D.
I'm gonna go to D minus.
Yeah,
I think sorcery really kills it in this.
It's
in this
just
set.
very bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. Pretty cool card. Kind of sad that it's not instant, which is
Yeah, that's one instant too. Yeah.
this.
Especially like with the flat. Like I wish it was at least flash as an instant. 7 mana to do that at sorcery
Speed, yeah. It's like yeah. This is something that I've been saying for ever since I started with set reviews a long time ago. There is like so many sorcery cards, especially in blue, that I'm like, why is it not an instant? And then at one point they started like making a lot of them instants, but sometimes they go back, even not just in the core set, like in anything. They go back and like, oh, let's make it a sorcery. And I'm so happy when it's instant. You got to think about more things. You have more, you have more options, but you also got to think about what the opponent has. And if you're like, oh, I'm going to be guessing it's a card draw, it makes it a lot more interesting and flexible, where you're tapping out less, opponent is tapping out less, so a lot more skill and decisions are required, without you just going, oh, they are tapped out, I have my perfect turn, I can do whatever, and same for the opponent. So I really love like making a lot of sorceries instant speed, unless they're too good. And it's just like, it wouldn't be amazing as an instant. So.
I totally agree. If Threshold wasn't in the set, I think you'd see that as an instant.
Yeah.
That's my...
Next up.
I think Ben Waits was lead design on this set, actually. I'm actually going to ask him about that. He's a friend of mine, so I think he was lead design. I'm going to ask him if that was originally an instant and they switched it to a sorcery.
Okay.
Specifically because...
send me the answer, or tell me the answer if you're on a call.
I'll ask him right now before I forget. Hold on.
Okay. I'm going to read the next one.
I'm so bad with names. I just remember them as what they do. What's the name of the card?
Inspiration from Beyond.
Oh god, I can't do it. They're asking me for some pin. All right, I'll do it later. Facebook is literally asking me for a pin to start talking.
Okay. Rune Sealed Wall. For 2 and a blue, it's a 0/6 defender. For a tap, you can surveil 1. It's an artifact as well. Not against it. Actually, not against it.
I love it. I love it. Like, it's not a busted card or anything,
No.
but I love this card. I hope this card is
Good.
as good as I want it to be.
Yes. Same.
It's so like, you remember when like Sigiled Starfish was like one of the best commons in the set or whatever. This is very reminiscent of that. It blocks extremely well.
Sigiled Starfish issues a 0/3, right?
Yes, that was a 2-drop though. But it was one of the like it was the games went long enough that scrying every turn where there was 2. There was a black one in a Modern Horizon set and it wasn't good. But
I remember it in Modern Horizons.
Right. But yeah, like the fact that this can give you a massive advantage as a game, like the longer the game goes, the bigger the advantage of surveilling 1 every turn is, right? And this can also enable that by blocking. So I like it. It blocks very well. There's, it blocks Talarian Terrors. It blocks all the 4-power stuff you're going to see in Ferocious. It's got a bit of a, like the artifact thing is a drawback, obviously, because there's going to be random things like Cathar Commando that can just kill it. But I think I'm going to be happy to play this in basically any blue deck, because my blue decks are going to be
Flyers.
You're not going to win combats on the ground basically ever. So I'm looking at like blue-red is probably the blue deck I'm most interested in drafting, and this is going to fill my graveyard with spells. It's going to find Think Twice for free, that kind of thing.
The 4-drop helps with the tempo. The 4-drop common. The mana of 4-drop that bounces opponent's creature. So
yeah, but you're not like the problem with that is you're not pushing damage through really, because your creatures are so bad before it. So it's that's why like that card might be a little bit worse than you would think, the Mana War, because you're not leveraging any kind of tempo. You're just kind of playing it to not fall behind. A lot of the times, that's just kind of how blue works in sets like this. And then you have a bunch of really up tempo turns where you cast like a removal spell and a terror in the same turn, and then all of a sudden you're ahead on the board. But yeah, I like this card. I'm basically always going to play it, I think, unless I'm
what grade
forced not to. But the Surveil one is just huge on a wall like this.
What do you think? What is the grade?
Oh, I didn't give it a rating. I'll give it a C. It's not like a premium card or anything.
Yeah. What it suffers from is it's a wall. People, we don't even have walls anymore. But before it was like normal. Like blue is like a wall it always has a wall. That's a blue thing. You always have some 1 or 2 walls. Now we do have a turtle again, and the problem is always that it bounces something off of it, not in the hand, of course. Which means it seems like, oh yeah, it can block like bigger creatures and so on, but it can never stop attacks. Is the thing, like the walls never stop attacks.
Yeah, that's the thing. When something has 0 power, it also can't prohibit it. Yeah, it can't prohibit attacks. Like it's much better when a wall is a 1/6 than a 0/6. Because then all of a sudden their X1s cannot attack anymore.
Exactly.
At all. So you're actually breaking off multiple cards, and that's like something I've talked about before is onboard card advantage, where your 1 creature is able to hold the ground against 3 creatures. You're up 2 cards in that scenario. Right?
Yeah. Like you play a 4-mana 4/4. It's not broken, but 4-mana 4/4 makes it that every creature that is a 2/2, a 3/3, 3/4, they need to have something to get through it. And the more times you say, hey, you need something, the more times the opponent is going to say, oh, I don't have anything, so I'm not going to attack. But walls like this is... I remember when, I don't know, a couple of years ago when walls were still around, some people played a good amount of them. And that was always like, okay, at one point you go a bit wider than them, and you can still attack with all your 1/1s, all your 2/2s, everything is still attacking. So... yeah, that's the problem with walls. But the real one is nice every turn. I'm gonna give it a C, and I really...
no mana. That's the thing. Like the no mana thing is huge. You put 1 mana on that ability, this card is... I'm giving it an F.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That 0 mana Surreal every single turn.
0 mana Surreal 1 every turn. It's kind of a big effect.
I really hope this is good. I really hope this is good in the set.
Yeah.
So C for starters. Next up, Imprisoned in the Moon for 2 and a blue. It's an enchanted aura. Enchant creature, land, or a planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land with tap, add colorless, and loses all other card types and abilities. This is horrible and absolutely unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. It rams the opponent forever.
I'm not going to give it that bad of a grade, but it is not a good card. It is just not that, like... This is the kind of removal spell you don't really want to empty early, right? You don't want to play this in turn 3. It's very bad then. If you're able to sculpt a game plan where this is the last card out of your hand to deal with their last threat, then all of a sudden the drawback isn't a drawback anymore. Unlike something like a Witness Protection, where they still have a piece of, they can equip it, it has counters on it still, anything like that. This gets to mitigate that at least. However, it's not a card I'm happy to play or. I usually end up playing like 1 copy of it. It's been common sometimes, and it's like, okay, I guess when it was common, it's always in like Modern Horizons or something, and it's a higher power level set, and then you don't play it. But this is core set. This is blue. They don't really have that many answers. To me, it's a D. It's not an F, but we'll see.
For me, it's an F. Just an F. It's like, and 3 mana is...
I hate giving them anything. You want to take it all.
Well, what do you say?
I said, oh God, something's going on with this thing because I already have a grade here and I didn't put it in there. So
what with the
Imprisoned in the Moon? I don't know what got messed up.
So you're putting in a grade, but it didn't register? Or?
No, there was already a grade for the card, and I don't know what it was supposed to be for.
I'm guessing we are gonna see when we fill this up. We're gonna see what's missing. That's always fine. It's easy. Like you're not gonna make like 10 different grades. It's gonna be 1, and then it was. I think I gave grade to something before, but I can't remember. So no, who cares? It's we're gonna fix it later. But the problem with this is, as you said, like if you can engineer the game plan to kind of play it as the last card out of your hand when the lines don't matter that much. The problem with removal spells, this is also 3 mana, it's not like efficient. So the problem is it is so hard, basically impossible to know that is gonna happen. Like that you're not just gonna have to remove a 3-drop on turn 3, to remove a 2-drop on turn 3 even, like or something smaller like where opponent is gonna use up that mana. It is extremely hard to just engineer that. That's like, I don't think you can safely save it.
I'm not looking to take this card and be like, okay, here's my plan. I'm just saying, when you're especially in a tougher draft. I mean, maybe it doesn't happen enough in Arena, but you're looking for, I need a removal spell. And when I need a removal spell, they're very hard to find, right? People take removal spells very aggressively. It's much harder to find a removal spell than whatever. So this is kind of like the curve filler removal spell, if you will. The times I'd play this are the same in the same circumstances where I'd play that 4/4 Vigilance Dinosaur we were talking about, whatever. This is like a generic card that can serve the role of a removal spell when I absolutely need it. And it's not a disaster when I do it. It is a disaster if I have to cast it on turn 3, sure. But if I need to answer, if my deck can't answer a bomb and otherwise it's solid, I'm fine with this in my deck. I'm not gonna like cry about it. But it's not a card I am actively like excited to put in my deck. It's not. I think it's a little bit better than like Witness Protection, basically. It's not good.
Yeah, I just don't want it, but yeah. I'm gonna give them 2. I'm gonna give them 2. All right.
Clink-Quint Sky Mage. 1/1 flying, blue 3. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This is a reprint, right?
I don't think so.
It was definitely cards like this in the past.
There was Modern Horizons, but it was bigger.
I've always hated them, and I always get so tilted when I lose to them. Because they're very powerful if you get to untap with them. But
yeah.
The problem is you can't block, and they get reset by they're bad against bounce, they're bad against any kind of removal. If the opponent has basically any kind of interaction, it is a disaster.
Or if they're aggressive.
Yeah, there's kind of just no spot where this card is good, except your opponent is already just kind of out of gas and already behind and stuff like that. Now, if this set was like a set that had Treasure Cruise at common, you could set up some sick turns like that, sure. But like Think Twice is not that. So I don't know. I'm going to give this card a D-. I hope I never play with this card. It's just 4 mana for a 1/1 that becomes a 2/2 the next turn, and you're very likely going to make it a 3/3 the next turn. But it takes another full turn for it to be in play, for it to actually be above rate, and that's just not good enough.
It is kind of cool when if you have a dream scenario of Dimir 3-drop that when it attacks, it draws you a card for free and you discard it, right? That's
yeah. I mean, but even then,
yeah, it's a dream. That's a dream, but even then, yeah.
A dream, it's not even that good of a dream. No. You get a 2/2 that turn, and then the next turn it's a 4/4. Yeah, but yeah.
What did you give it?
What do you give it? I gave it a D-. I think this is worse than the last card that we previewed.
I don't know how slow the set is gonna be. Right? I really don't know how slow the set is gonna be, and I don't think it's gonna be too slow.
No, I don't think so either. There's too many creatures that are like 3/1 for 2 mana and stuff. You can't just do nothing.
You really want your 4-drops. This is what I talked about before. Like, you really want your 4-drops to, when you play them, to be a check for the opponent. You want them to be like, okay, I play them, and then can you attack through this? Can you? With this one, you're never asking that question. And that's huge. That's so huge, because like opponent plays a 4-drop, and they are usually going to be asking you that question. And a lot of times you're going to be saying, damn, nope, let's play something else and chill out with my 2-drops and 3-drops. I'm going to give it a very hopeful D.
Okay.
Because it would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun to.
Yeah, if it can work somewhere. Maybe I know I'm gonna be putting it on a D- later, but I hope. I really hope. That's hopeful. I can get a hopeful grade. Then next up we got Aetherize for 3 and a blue. Instant, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand.
Yeah, an oldie and not very goodie in my opinion. But
yeah.
It's not like. I don't know. I go back and forth on this card because it's interesting. It is a good sideboard card. I think.
Yeah, it's good sideboard.
Yeah, so like it'll get that X designation from me, but I'm not really looking to play this card. There's so many matchups. This card is just a flat F, and then there's spots where it's like a B. So, you play against the Boros heroic reinforcements, claws out deck or whatever, this thing's gonna be an all-star. Outside of that, it's just kind of garbage. So I don't know. I don't really know how you'd want to classify it.
X as a sideboard, definitely.
X for the sideboard, definitely, and then I would probably just give it a D.
Yeah, this is a trap effect, right? It's like when a lot of people are gonna look at this. I know I'm gonna be seeing a lot of this card, even though Magic players got way better in draft ever since Arena came. Like, did you notice that? Like, way better.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've noticed. Like, I mean, it used to be literally a joke if I wanted to get #1 ranking. Like it wasn't even. If I wanted to do it, I'd do it. Now it's like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna sit here. These people are playing way too much. They're good now, you know.
And it's like just before you had I don't know 10 Fs, D minuses that people were like playing a ton, and now you just kind of. I get very surprised when I see them. Like, oh my god, my opponent is playing that? What? Before it was like, yeah, I know your guys are going to be playing that, but now it's not happening that much. But I think there is another trap that's happening. I think big part of why people are not playing is data, not just the feel. Big part is also the data, and then people fall in that trap, and they look at data, and that's what they do. And they don't move away from it. And draft is way too complex to look at 17 lands data and say, that's exactly what I need to be doing and how I need to be picking.
Very much agree. Been screaming that from the rooftops for years now.
Yeah. And
everything is fluid in draft.
But everything is?
Fluid.
Fluid, yeah.
Everything is constantly.
I sometimes get into the trap where I'm kind of going with what is the best thing, but I forget to adapt, like whether on why my experience, a little bit of watching 70 lands or talking to other people, but you can draft so much better if you're fluid. Maybe you lose a couple of times where you're testing something, because with data you're not going to do much testing, and you're not going to find out things. Like in Bloomberg, I was playing cards with 40, less than 50% win rate and around 50 in the right decks, and playing a lot of them, a lot of times, and my win rate to them was like over 70%. And if you go with the data, you're never gonna do that. But then there's also a nice thing, if you find some cards that have really bad data today, because people are really into it, which is kind of cool, but you know that you're gonna see this card super late, and you can actually draft a deck even if they're uncommons. Like if a card has 50% win rate around that, and if it's an uncommon, you can draft like there's a high chance of getting it if you know how to build a deck that works with it. So yeah,
that is like what I used to love about draft the most was finding the hidden gems and kind of exploiting the fact that people weren't onto that. It happens less these days because of 17 lands, but there's still some out there.
Less for the cards that are actually really good, right?
What did you say?
It happens less with the cards that are like really good in most decks. It happens more with the cards that are really bad in most decks. Or that are really bad if you just draft with data in mind, right? You draft the best commons, you draft the best uncommons, that's it. Which is kind of a good way for a new player to do things. To see why something works, try things out. But what I like to do is, sometimes I forget, because I like data, I like looking at it. Numbers are so much fun for me. Sometimes I gotta say to myself, okay, just for a day or 2 or 3, like just don't even look at numbers at 7th lands at all. Because sometimes it's gonna go into my brain, oh, maybe I should take that card because of this, that, and it gets so much more fun, and it's not like you lose more if you get away from the data.
I don't use 17 lands at all because it feels like it interrupts my process, which I've been successful at and am used to. So I don't. The times I do use 17 lands is specifically, I haven't played a lot with this rare, and it's like kind of a weird rare, and I'm like, is this card good? Trying to think of an example of it, I can't off the top of my head, but Waltz of Rage was one of the ones that I would like. People kept telling me was good, so like I think I looked it up at some point. And it was like, yeah, it's what I thought, just like 55% or something. Like
Waltz of Rage, I love.
Yeah, I do not like that card, but
You don't like it?
no, I loved it in sealed. I thought it was insane in sealed, but it's a lot
Sealed.
different because in sealed you just don't get as much instant speed removal, and the decks aren't as streamlined, right? So it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Also, everyone had an onslaught in their deck that I like, including me. Like almost every sealed deck I played, I had onslaught in my deck.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
before we go to the next one, it's one of I just remember like the Duskman sealed in the pre-release. It was one guy had two of those. What's the name of that 2-drop with first double red that deals 1 damage whenever you draw a card?
Oh, I don't, Razorkin something. I don't remember the thing. I know the card you're talking about.
It's
first
two of those.
on your own turn.
So they had two of those and two of the Grievous Wounds, which is like horrible card. But they had two of those, both of those in sealed, so that was kind of cool.
That's funny.
That is fun. That is fun. Like you gotta play that if you get it in the pre-release.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the Pro Tour, maybe yes, depending on how the other deck looks like. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, a big trap. It's easy to think about. I'm just gonna wreck the opponent's board, but attacking with everything is a rare scenario, and you kind of don't really know when it's happening. A lot of times you don't know if it is gonna ever happen in the match, like huge attacks, or a lot of times you don't even know if when the board is big, you don't even know if they are gonna attack with everything. Kind of nice because you can swing goal and then be fine on the swing back, but it's also hard to swing with your board. This bounces things. So like if it bounces two things, you're not really doing it. If they're not tokens or something, like those could be ETB effects, or they could just bouncing two things is probably going to cost like 4 up to 6 mana, something like that, like a 4-drop and a 2-drop, or 2 2-drops, 3-drop and something.
Yeah, I'd say 5 to 7 mana is.
And then it looks like you're ahead, but that's not good because you
lost a card.
Yeah, you lost a card. And you waited so long. You didn't just bounce two things. Like if you could just bounce two different things for 4 mana, that would be amazing. Like even if it's up to 6 mana in total, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not that. You waited for the right moment, and then what? You lost the card. Cyberdex, and I'm not gonna be on an F. I'm gonna be on a D minus.
Yeah, I gave it a D. D minus is fine.
Okay, give it a D from me as well. Give it a D.
Yeah.
Good.
I think I'm gonna be like, I'm still gonna end up with this card in my deck sometimes when I'm not necessarily happy to have it in my like blue-red decks with terrors and stuff.
Maybe like flyers. Maybe have a lot of
fall behind a lot, and this is gonna help a little bit with that. So it's like not a disaster.
A lot of flyers and a lot of looting.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty cool way to make this be something that works in your deck. Because looting means you can discard it when you don't have a good time to use it. Ooh, next up.
One of my faves. Micromancer. Call back to Dominaria United. Blue 3/3/3. When it enters, you search your library for an instant or sorcery card with mana value 1. Reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. I like this card a lot. There is a lot of support for it actually in this set. There is, off the top of my head, at the floor is you're going to get a fleeting distraction with this out of blue, right? But the ceiling is you're going to get burst lightning. You're going to get whatever the stab, I think it's called, disfigure. There's eaten alive.
Yeah, there's 2 black removal spells, 2.
Yeah, there's 2 black removal spells that this is going to get. So this is like, well, it's not quite a Necrotol or whatever. It is a very real 2-for-1 on a, only slightly inefficient body for its casting cost. So
there is even white has a trick, right? I think that's the only thing on common, and green has 2 cards actually, like giant growth, which maybe
giant
you don't.
Growth, yep.
But bushwhack, I think in Simic decks you're gonna be more about the bushwhack.
Oh yeah, bushwhack as well. Yeah, bushwhack is very real as well.
Yeah, fight spell
or like turns into fix it in that scenario.
Exactly.
Like blue branching out into. So yeah, this is just a great card. Very first pickable card. Going to be very happy to take it. It's one of those things when you take a blue card and then you get past this, you're like, you stand up in your chair a little bit. You're like, all right, let's see what's going to happen now, because your deck's starting out pretty good.
Yep.
It's I don't know. I'm between B and B plus for this. Probably B plus.
I'm gonna be on a B. Just B for now, because sometimes maybe you're not gonna have the best things. In white, I think blue-black is where you're like, yes, this is, it's always gonna do the thing. But yeah, not bad. Not really good card. This was always really good. Always, I mean, it just came last year? When was that? I'm so bad with years, man. Ever since Corona came, everything is messed up. Like last 4 years, I don't know what is what. It feels like Dominaria original set was here a couple of years ago, and I think it's 7. Can somebody check that? I think it's actually 7.
Dominaria, actual Dominaria.
Actual Dominaria.
That was I can actually remember that because I remember Worlds that year. I think that was 2017, so 7 years ago. Yeah, I think so.
I think that's somewhere where I started streaming, and that's where I actually started playing Magic. Before it was I play just a little bit kitchen table Magic here and there. I was playing other games a shit ton, but I was waiting for something like Arena so I can just play a crap ton. That's where like I started playing Magic.
Yeah, that's great. I started in Ice Age, so
yeah. I mean, first time that I played Magic was 23 years ago, something like that. But ever since Dominaria, I was like, I mean,
I guess Mirage is when I started playing like competitively, like PTQs and stuff. I went to tournaments and didn't even know what I was doing. Like I didn't know what I was playing in. My friends are like, "We're going to a tournament. You want to come?" Sure. I didn't know what I was playing for. I didn't care. I just wanted to play.
Yeah, you started like competitively playing way sooner.
Yeah. I played my first Pro Tour on my 16th birthday.
Oh, wow. 16th birthday. Wait, how old are you now?
I'm 42, or 41, gonna be 42.
I thought you were younger.
So, yeah.
So I'm younger than you. Woo! Arcane Epiphany is the next one. For 3 and double blue, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each... Oh, just if you control a wizard. Okay. Draw 3 cards.
It's not for each wizard, yeah.
How many wizards do we even have?
The prowess thing's a wizard, the 2-1 flash.
That's it.
I believe the Micromancer's a wizard, not that really counts. I think is the 2/3 when you draw your card, it must be a wizard.
Yeah, that one is not very good, but there's a red wizard, or the 0/4.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at the other colors. I'm just blue in general. Yeah, it has a couple. I think it's very reasonable that you'll be able to discount this, but not always.
I mean, in this set, I like this. I'm not against it.
Yeah, I love it.
Blue doesn't have that. Like, if blue had good card draw on common, I would not care about this at all. But it doesn't.
That's the thing. It doesn't. Yeah, this is a card you're gonna be very excited. Like, my blue-red decks are gonna like really want this card because the way you win with those decks is you either loot away all your extra land, so you have way more spells than your opponent, or you just have actual raw card advantage to be able to win because it's not the individuality of your cards that's winning the game. The power, it's the fact that you have more of them.
C+.
Yeah, this card's great to me. Yeah, I'm gonna go B-, but yeah,
Ooh,
C+ is
that's high. Yeah, this would be garbage in a
lot of sets. Yeah, it would be. I totally agree.
If
Dustmorn has, I mean, this is like, yeah, it's comparable to Meat Locker or whatever, right?
Yeah, but there's also the Glimmer Burst that makes a 1/1.
Yes.
Yeah. So C+, you B-. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Would be cool if it's a B-.
It's the copium. I'm huffing the copium. All right, we got Skyship Buccaneer. Blue 3 for a 4/3 flyer. Raid. When this creature enters, if you attack this turn, draw a card. I do love drawing cards. Blue it's tough because blue is going to have a tough time attacking pretty well, I think. So like obviously this is going to be a lot better in like your blue-white deck, your blue-white flyers deck. It's going to be much easier to trigger. Your blue-red decks, your blue-black decks, they're not going to have as an easy a time making an attack that's not like costing you something. But it's a solid 5-drop. I don't know. I'm trying to like compare it to Star Angel. I think it's comparable to Star Angel, like almost identically comparable, because like at its best, it's going to be a little bit better, but I think it's going to be like the 3 toughness is kind of an issue because it's going to trade a lot more with the common white Angel and stuff like that. It's not going to block as well. It's not going to brick off other attacks the turn you play it. I don't know. I'll give this I think I'm just going to give it a C.
Just because there is so little 5-drops, I'm gonna go on a C+.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. Very reasonable.
Very, very small amount. So yeah, C+. So it's, again, the 5-drop, 6-drops uncommons are really not competing with anything. So you just like, if you take them a bit higher than what you would take 5-drops, 6-drops in the usual set, and I'm not saying modern set, in any set, it's you take them, nothing is going to replace them, and they are not going to replace anything. They're just going to go in your deck. Of course, if you want 5-drops and 6-drops, they're just going to go in your deck.
So my issue is like, how much better is this than the common that's blue 4? Obviously, the raid part is a better. Like, I'd rather have the raid drawer card than the loot, but not by that much.
I think quite a lot better, and I like 4-3 more than 3-4 in the air.
I think I like 3-4 better because it's going to be able to block the turn I cast it.
Hmm.
Obviously, this clock's faster, but I'm trying to think about what would I rather be doing, clocking faster or being able to block that turn, because I feel like I'm going to be behind with my blue decks more than I'm ahead. So
also, I'm happier trading this, right? So that's kind of fine.
That you've drawn a card off of it, trading it is a lot better.
Feels better. Okay. Ooh,
the fact that they're close drags this down for me, though.
I don't know. I think this is just significantly better in most decks.
Stupid Kraken thing.
Grappling Kraken, though, is a 6-drop, 4 and double blue, 5/6, and it has landfall, which says tap target creature on opponent controls and put a stun counter on it.
Oh, this is different than I thought. All right, yeah, never mind. This is better. I thought this was a different card. Like an identical of a it's an identical picture to a different card, or I'm just misremembering. But
which card are you thinking about?
I think I'm thinking of one that had like you had to pay mana to make an attack or something.
To make it
unblockable, or maybe it's
or
like
to make
6/6 an original Zendikar that it couldn't attack unless you played a land.
I have no idea. That. I didn't play original.
It just looks like that, like the identical picture to it, but this is a lot better than the one I was thinking.
So this is powerful effect. This is very powerful effect.
Yeah.
But it's also an effect on a 6-drop that it's not ETB. And once you had, this is a lot of times when you play 6-drop, you have no more lands in hand, but it does make your lands be something really nice.
Mm-hmm.
How good is this with green? Is green good at getting lands?
Yeah, it's got Growth from the Ashes. You can put this in play early.
Growth from the Ashes
and
is nice.
Llanowar Elves as well, and then start getting the value out of it. I mean, I think it's blue green is a landfall thing, right? So that's what it's trying to do. So, but I assume there's always a little support.
It's not. The green is not that good at searching for lands, right? If you have a bushwhack, you're gonna fight. You're not gonna at this point. You're not gonna.
Very likely, yes.
So there is no card like a Centipede.
There's no, like we had Skittering Surveyor. They replaced that with Evolving. It has Evolving Wilds, which is this card's obviously great with Evolving Wilds if you're able to accomplish that. Which might be a sequence. You play this on turn 7, your Evolving Wilds for the turn, and then
you mean on turn like 10?
Not only do you stun their thing, you get to instant speed stun their creature on their turn.
I think you're gonna be playing this on turn for that kind of combo. It's gonna be like turn 12.
Sure, you know what I mean. When you get to 7,
when you have 7 lands, 6 lands, and +1.
It might be like in blue green. It might be ahead of that because of the Llanowar Elves and Grow to Ashes and stuff.
And picks.
Yeah, it is a pick sync.
Yeah, it's like I like my picks.
Yeah,
but I'm not super high on this.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not low on it either. I'm pretty happy to like if this is like. I'd rather play this than basically any common 6-drop. So
I'm gonna C-.
I'll go C. I'll go C.
It's still a
I don't
6
think I'm
drop.
gonna.
And, 6 drop that. Man, this is really bad until you get a land to play. Like,
It's still usually gonna outsize everything.
yeah, but it's like 5,
Even
6.
though it's 6 mana, it's only a 5/6 and not like a 7/7 or something like we're used to today. It's still going to be bigger than basically the rest of the board. So it's gonna require them to answer it.
I'm actually gonna give it a D plus. Even though I'm with my decks with a lot of picks, where every deck is gonna have a lot of picks, it's probably gonna be better. Yeah, can you move it to a D plus for me? It's just like it's a 6 drop with that's small for 6, and you need to play more lands to make it better. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
What?
Ah, okay, that was a joke. No, God damn it, I'm so easy to fool.
I see it now.
Yeah. Did you see it? Did you see it in chat?
Yeah, in your chat. Yeah, I'm looking at your chat.
All right. Next up.
Yeah, my chat. Yeah, Shoal Sherpin. My chat called it out. Yeah, Shoal Sherpin was the card I was thinking of. Let me see.
Let me see it. Shoal?
Similar. Oh yeah. This is the one. This is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, there's a. It's from original Zendikar. It says same casting, or it's blue 5 for a 5/5 with.
Oh, I see it.
And fall can attack. Yeah, and the picture's pretty similar, or not. Yeah. It's not that close, but that's what I thought I was looking at when you dragged it up.
It's actually not even close. Yeah.
So much better than that card.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh my God.
All right, we got.
Well, I'm glad that cards like Shoal Serpent are no longer the thing.
Self-reflection. Blue 4. Create a token of a copy of target creature you control. Flash Act blue 3. This card is a bad card. I don't want to put it in my deck. I don't suspect I ever will, though. Maybe I'll meme around sometime and play it if I have a bunch of enters the battlefield effects and just try to do something cute, but it won't be because I'm trying to maximize my win percentage. So I will give this card an F.
Feels kind of nice in some Dimir decks, and like when you have a good amount of looting, and when you have.
Yeah, I guess like the flashback thing is real. You can mill it away, and that you get a free card, but I don't.
And
really
with Thrill of Possibility, if you're going for that Serpent play.
Yeah, that's actually real. Discarding this to Thrill of Possibility, playing a Serpent in this like a turn 5. Because you're going to play, let's say you're able to play a 1-mana Serpent on turn 5, you can play this, do this. Yeah, maybe it's a little higher then. Maybe it's a D- or something.
And it's a little bit.
Actually,
it's a little bit lower power level set. It's not that much lower. I don't think people should compare this too much with core sets in the past. I think core sets are way lower power level than this. Even though this is kind of what they're going for, but I don't think it's similar.
This is a modern day core set, is how I would describe it.
Yeah.
It's not like 2000. It's not like M15 or something where
It's not even like M19.
At one point, core set, the best card was Rod of Ruin. 4-mana artifact, pay 3 mana, tap it, deal 1 to any target. That was legitimately the best card in the set.
Okay, wow. Oh my God.
Like, I'm not kidding. The game's just boiled. Like, you could never attack. And I mean, maybe Millstone, like, if Millstone was in that set, it was better, but that was like the best non-rare. Like, anything with a repeatable effect was crazy good.
I'm on a D plus for this one. I think it
has a. Okay, that's aggressive.
That's aggressive. Yeah, I think it has a place.
I like that.
I really think it has a place.
No, I'm liking the idea with the thing. If you get the thrill possibilities,
yeah.
I like it.
Like with the Serpent, and then with some multicolor uncommons that are not legendary, it's really nice. Is it the only legendary multicolor? Is what's the name? The 1/3 Balmor? Is that the only one?
I don't think so, but like there's probably monocolored one. You mean gold ones? I think it was the only gold one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is the only gold legendary. No, there's a Tatioa as well, but okay. Yeah, D plus. That's a high grade. I know, but I think it's gonna be fine in those decks. I think it's gonna be kind of fine.
Yeah, no, I actually like that a lot. you get 2 or 3 terrors, then you get like 1 copy of this. You discarding it to thrill.
Yeah.
You do that all in the same turn because
And
you
Vor
actively
too.
want to discard your sorceries to thrill a possibility to cheapen the terror as well. So I like that. I like that.
Vor 2 is huge. Vor 2 is like really huge. Because on the terror. Because then it's like, okay, opponent has like 3 or less mana, even I think 4 or less mana, and it's like they cannot do anything to you. Nick Sex, thanks for the sub. Okay, we are. Well, how do you feel about blue compared to white? We just had 2 colors so far.
Oh, it's worse.
Looks worse?
It's worse, but I'm going to draft it more than I draft white.
Okay, it does look
I mean,
worse.
Those things are true. You should, I think people will draft white more in general, so I'll be happy to scoop up the blue cards.
Exactly. Like people
and
do draft. Like it's always on 17 lands also. People are gonna see that like good solid colors that you don't have to like put too much decisions in, where it's not gonna be skill check every time you loot and stuff like that. They're gonna have higher win rate and they're gonna draft those more. It's always how it's gonna be. Like there's been so many sets where the highest I'm not playing the highest win rate aggressive decks. They're being drafted a lot. They're still great, but people just miss out on other things where
they just spew value because they want to do the easy thing.
Yeah.
And the quantified thing as instead of the thing that actually takes some effort and thought. And not, I mean, I respect that. That's how I play video games, and that's how most people play Magic, right? So.
but that also gives you time to exploit that, and the more like these skill checks that you have in a deck, the more time if you are the better player, the more times you can get like an upper hand because of it, which is a little bit rare in aggro, even though it's not easy to play aggro in Magic as well in limited, but a little bit easier. I gotta just say one thing about blue. Like most sets except the Duskmourn. Duskmourn it was so easy to see that blue is amazing. But most sets, blue looks worse because it's a little bit harder to see. With blue, usually you need a little bit of experience. That's my experience. You need to play a little bit more with it, see what's up, to figure out exactly where it stands. But as its base, it always looks a bit worse. Like creatures are always look a bit weaker, and removal is always worse. So with those two, it's never gonna feel like it's competing with other colors. But then, if it's not just
it has all the selection, it has all the card advantage. It's like it has the fact that you're saying that, like the fact that people don't want to draft it. It's to your advantage.
Yes. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be fine. Since I don't feel like blue is garbage. Whenever I don't feel like blue is garbage, blue ends up being very good. And I don't think it's garbage.
All right, Drake Hatcher. 1 in a blue for a 1/3 Vigilance Prowess. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, put that many incubation counters on it. Remove 3 incubation counters from Drake Hatcher to create a 2/2 Drake creature token with flying. Kind of an interesting, weird card.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty strong, actually. Like you read it first, and you're like, "Ooh, this is cool." You make drakes with it, and you're like, well, "Wait a second, I'm not gonna be able to like get counters on it reliably, am I?" But it is for each damage you deal, so it plays very nice with Fleeting Distraction, right? Like that is a really big squeeze.
Yeah.
The fact that that's a card, like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna block. Are you gonna block? If you don't block, what are you gonna do next turn? Are you going to not block again next turn and turn my 1 mana instant draw card into a 2/2 Drake? So it's quite good for a 2-drop. It's not going to scale super well into the game, but on turn 2, it's going to be a pretty powerful card, I think. So I don't know. What do you think for a grade?
Okay, so
I have a grade 1.
It kind of needs to be blocked always. If like a lot of times they're really gonna have to say, "Oh fuck it, I gotta block it," right? And that's pretty good scenario, right? Because you're the one choosing when to attack. It's also gonna make the opponent not attack as much, and it's just a 2-drop, like it's just a 2-drop with decent stats. So that's what a 2-drop is doing. Make opponent attack. I'm gonna attack a little bit less now, which is huge for just a 2-drop in blue. And there's like a white white can give counters. Like there is a white 1-mana trick that gives flying
It
plus
wears the
1/+1.
pick quite well. Turn 2 this, turn 3 pick, attack.
This is
Make
what?
a Drake.
A 3/5 with a pick, right?
Yeah, on turn 3.
That's huge. That's huge. It's a common. In white, you can. There's just that what you said, like with blue instants, especially with the -1 -0, is going to be nasty.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Justin, like always in blue. It's just always going to have that squeeze. You're always going to be representing that fleeting distraction.
with white, you can give it a +1/+1 counter flying, and that instantly gets you a Drake, right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot. Like that's 1 mana. You just dealt 3 damage, and you made a 2/2 at instant speed. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I'm on a B-. It's very good, I think.
B-. That's exactly what I had in my head. B-. I'm almost talking myself into a B, but yeah, B-.
Same. I think it might play out as a B, but we're gonna see. Because even a bit later in the game, like they really want to be careful about what they leave back. Alright, next up we got a Planeswalker. We got a Kaito Cunning Infiltrator for 1 and double blue. It's another 3-mana Planeswalker with 3 loyalty.
Yeah.
Whenever a creature controls deals combat damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on Kaito. For +1, up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. And loot. -2, create a 2/1. -9, you get an emblem with whenever a player casts a spell, you create a 2/1 blue ninja creature token. Okay, this is incredible. This is a freaking 3-mana Planeswalker that protects itself right away.
Sort of.
And stays on 1 loyalty. Or it gets up to 4 loyalty while you're looting. Or it gets even more than 4 loyalty because you can attack. Maybe you can just attack. Maybe you can just...
it's gonna... The +1 is going to enable an additional +1.
Yeah, it's like a 5. +1 is easy 5 always when you play it.
Yeah.
And the -2, man. Usually 3-mana Planeswalker don't just protect themselves with reasonable creatures. Yeah, this is a bomb. I think this is just a bomb. There are gonna be so many scenarios. Maybe you have flyers, whatever, where you're just gonna be, oh, I'm just gonna attack, and I'm fine if you just attack the Kaito back. I'm gonna keep +1ing. You're not gonna attack me. You're gonna maybe have bad attacks. Maybe there's just no way you're gonna kill it. So, and just -2 is super reasonable at any point.
So I'm lower on it because I think it's going to be hard to set up the +1 to where it's a real threat, just because of how bad the blue creatures are.
But it's a free loot.
It's draw card. Yes. Oh, I said always loots, I guess.
Yeah.
So like, you're not gonna like. I feel like it's gonna be hard to get to the 9, and then I'm just kind of like. So let's say I get 2 2/1s over a course of over the course of 3 turns out of it. Is that really worth it? Is that really a good card? I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely lower on this. I'm gonna give it a B+, but I mean, the blue part is a little restrictive too. You really want to be able to cast this when you want to cast this.
Imagine flyers, having flyers like Hawk or something.
Yeah, there's going to be decks this is way better in, but then there's going to be decks like, I'm specifically thinking of blue-black and blue-red, where this card is not going to play out well. It's never going to be bad though. Like, if you evaluate this as differently, like this is how I usually evaluate these cards. The most commonly used activation when you cast this on turn 3 is going to be making a ninja. So you're getting a 3-mana 2/1 ninja that also puts in play a planeswalker that can start doing stuff the following turn, right? It's going to be nice in blue-white. Very nice in blue-white, as long as you can reliably cast it. That's kind of my issue, and why I mentioned the casting cost is if your aggressive creatures were blue to combine with this, I'd be a little happier because I'm going to end up playing more islands. I'm going to play 9-10 islands. But I feel like blue is going to be a support color more often, and I'm going to have 8 islands in my deck. And then this is a lot less castable on turn 3. So I'm a little bit lower on it. I'm going to give it a B+, but I hope it's better than that.
This also triggers for every single creature, just...
Yeah, no, I know. That's what makes it kind of crazy.
I'm on an A. I'm close to an A+.
A plus is crazy.
I'm
yeah.
on A.
All right, let's do it. All right, we got to check back on this one.
Yeah. All right, so
We're gonna check back.
this one we are gonna have to check through 70 lands a bit, right?
Yes.
Because I mean,
yes.
how many
I
times are we
give
gonna
it
get
a
kite?
eight.
Okay, so you're on B plus, I'm on A. I think this is gonna be
Yeah.
one of the few best performing cards in the set, and let's see. Like, I mean, just like the top of the,
Yeah.
just the top. I think I'm gonna move it to an A plus later, maybe because of what you said. I didn't give it an A plus right away, but A is a good start. I don't think it's gonna go down. Alright, we gotta remind ourselves just to look after a few days or something.
All right, we got Kiora, the Rising Tide, blue 2 for a 3/2. When it enters, draw 2 and discard 2. Another little combo with your clone, Flash Black clone thing. Threshold, whenever it attacks, if there are 7 more cards in your graveyard, you may create a 8/8 legendary, keyword there, blue octopus creature token.
What the hell?
This card's very good. Like baseline 3/2 for 3 that double loots is just a good card.
Yeah. Even better than double
then
looting.
Back on top of that you get an 8/8 if this thing ever attacks, and it's going to trigger pretty reliably when you get 2 cards off the bat for free from it. And just the way blue is structured, you're going to be able to get to threshold pretty easily. You're going to be picking up cards specifically because you have this card. I'm just trying to think about the grade where I want to give it. I like this better than the last card, so
I don't.
I'm gonna give it an A minus.
I'm gonna give it an A minus because I like it less than the last card.
Yeah, consistent.
But this thing, like just as you said, 3/2, draw 2, discard 2, like that's pretty good right away for free. But the effect, man, what the hell? At least it's a legendary, so that's nice. Like you just most of the time you're gonna attack with this and they're gonna block with like a 4/4 or something. But
yeah, you're gonna want to find a way to like get this to at least trade too, but like you don't need to, right?
I don't think I care about trading it. Like,
you already got the double loot and an 8/8. Like, what more do you need?
So if it's not trading, it's basically becoming an 8/8, and that's kind of nice. Lunar Insight for 2 and a blue. Sorcery, draw card for each different mana value among non-land permanents you control. This is a little bit hard. Like, what? You have the pick, right? That's 2 mana, so... I generally hate these cards. It is non-land permanents, right? So
with pick, I will say it does draw 2 cards, right?
Yes, because of the treasure.
The treasures, yeah, that's cute, I guess.
So that's actually really nice. Wait, this card is nice.
It can be. Like the lower your curve, the better with this thing. That's for sure.
Oh, and I mean, yeah, like wait, but you don't even have to have a pick, right? A lot of
yes, colorless permanents count to answer your chat.
Colors, yes. Also, the tokens count, right? So you can have any token, and it's gonna be 0 mana, like cats or something. I actually like this card quite a lot in this set. Usually I hate this kind of effect that count. What was it? A few times you had something count different mana values on your creatures that are non-token and shit like that. I think this is a C+ in this set.
Oh, I'm gonna go lower than that. I'm gonna give it a D+ just because it's a little too situational for my liking, and my blue decks are probably gonna have not that many spells, or they're not gonna want to draw cards. So one of my issues with cards like this is it really wants you to curve out, and in your curve out decks, you generally don't want to be drawing cards. Like the times you want to draw cards in limited are when you're interactive and you draw more removal, and you're literally just trying to out resource your opponent.
Yeah. And you're trading.
You're curving out. You want to add to that advantage, that onboard advantage. And drawing cards isn't bad, especially this is efficiently costed for that in a way when you're drawing 3 off it. But I think it's just going to not going to go in every blue deck. Well, you're not going to be able to cast it on turn 3. I don't know. Maybe I should give it. Maybe I should go to a C-. I'm certainly going to play with it a lot initially to try to get a true understanding of it. But if your curve is bad, this card is bad. If your curve is really low, it's also not going to be great. So
I think it's the pick. But just because I'm so high on the pick, Means,
it's going to be really.
no. That's 2 cards on its own, right? And you just need one more thing.
Yeah, but you need to have the treasure like active in play, right? You can't use it to cast this, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's gonna check when it resolves.
Yeah, I mean it does count tokens, but it only counts. Yeah, it only counts them for 0.
So just because
Yeah,
of
this
the
is a
pick,
cool card. I feels more like an uncommon to me, but
oh, I'm gonna do the Hawk pick. That's already gonna be 3, and then something else. But that's already 3, right?
yeah, that's drawing 3 cards. Yeah, you can set that all up, but like if you're doing that, basically every card is going to be good if you have all that stuff in play still.
I think in a normal set it sucks, but I think in this set it's gonna be fine.
All right, I'll go to C minus. You said C plus. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you gotta get a pick rating up as well. We're completely different on picks, right? I'm on a C plus. You're on a like what? Sorry. Next up we got High Fate Trickster for I don't know if I'm reading.
What's the last card? Oh, 46. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Last one was Lunar Insight. For 3 and a blue, 4/2 flash flying. You may cast spells as though they had flash.
Interesting. It's a wizard.
Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Because the stats are not that bad, right? It's a 4-mana 4/2 flyer. They're not great, but this is interesting. This is very interesting.
I did something and I lost the thing. Sorry, I lost the logging. I don't know what I did.
You lost the what?
I lost the page to where I was logging grades. I don't know how I did
it's
it.
In the bottom. It's in the bottom right. Sorry, in the you go. It's in.
There we go.
On the bottom left.
I got the right
bottom
thing.
left, not right.
Yeah, you fixed it for me. I think. All right. Yeah, High Fate Trickster. Yeah, this is really interesting because it says spells, which includes creatures. Hits pretty hard. It has flash itself, so you can sequence some pretty incredible turns with it. Set some stuff up. Doesn't block well though.
Sure.
That's its big problem. Is it's not. While it hits hard, it doesn't get to attack into very much, and it doesn't get to block anything.
On its own, it's kind of whatever. You really need some interesting things to do, like maybe fighting in green.
I think of anything super interesting to do with it. I don't really think like the best you can do is like instant speed terror or whatever is kind of nice, but
it's like opponent doesn't know what's. It kind of messes up with opponent's head, right? More.
Yeah,
it's hard for them to choose to attack with smaller things, especially. It's not bad. I'm gonna give it a C.
Oh, it's definitely not bad. I was gonna go C plus, maybe as high as B minus, but I'm gonna start with C plus.
I think actually C plus, yeah, because this is very messy. I don't. Invite like you can get the creatures that give +1/+1 counters as well. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's cute, and I mean that's.
You can flash the pick on the end step so they don't remove it right away. Right?
You can flash the pick? Is that what you said?
On their end step so they don't remove it.
So they don't remove the pick?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
yeah.
You can't equip it.
Yeah, but it's going to be safe for that one turn. Yeah, I'm gonna be on a C plus just because on its own nothing that special, but it makes it very awkward for the opponent.
Yeah, the 2 toughness is kind of a drag down because of burst lightning and whatever. Like just if this dies
and
for 1
-2/-2 in black, that's instant.
Yeah, disfigure and burst lightning.
It's not disfigure, right? It's different name this time, right?
Yes, stab. It's called stab. I'm just gonna call it disfigure though.
Yeah, me too.
It's ingrained in my head.
I just thought it was good. I was looking at the card. I was like, "Is this something? Am I missing something?" Because it's always been disfigured. Alright, next up, Homunculus Horde for 3 and blue. It's a 2/2. I think I read a few in a row. Sorry. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that's really hard for me to evaluate because I think I always underrate them.
Oh, this is not hard for me to evaluate them. This is just like. This is completely different. Remember original Dominaria?
Yeah.
They're kind of going with a lot of things from original Dominaria. Is it the same set design? Or?
Was there a
lead.
card like this in Dominaria that I'm not remembering?
Okay, so yeah, it's not exactly like this. It's an artifact. Whenever you play a historic creature, a historic card, you need to pay 2 to
Yeah,
copy.
this you don't pay anything for.
Yeah, that was infinitely worse than this. Okay, so
Yeah.
what do you think about it? You say, why is it hard to evaluate for you, this one?
Because I generally think about games that like the cards in the normal game flow of like, you play a creature every turn or a removal spell every turn and you just kind of curve out, and this is undersized. It does require a setup, but once it gets set up, it's crazy.
It's
right?
crazy,
Like
yeah.
if you trigger it twice, you have 4 tokens in play, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, the game ends. So
Yeah.
it doesn't take much for this to get completely out of hand.
Exactly.
This is the kind of card that's going to play way better in an interactive deck. I guess it works in either, but it's again, think twice. Think twice is crazy with this. You're going to play this the next turn, cast think twice, hold up a counter spell or something, and the following turn think twice again from the graveyard. And then as you're drawing cards, you're going to draw more cards that let you keep triggering it and stuff like
looting,
that. So
just random looting in Dimir. Jesus Christ! If you have the Dimir guy.
Yeah, you're going to play this on turn 5 quite a bit, and then fleeting distraction the same turn.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking as well. That would be very nice.
So, so I like this. The ceiling on this card is pretty friggin' high, but I don't know if it's actually going to work out that way. Again, it does die to Disfigure. It does die to Verse Lighting. It's not that hard. The counterplay for this card does exist at a cheap mana cost.
It's also 4 mana 2/2. Like a lot of times, I think you're gonna be playing it on 4 with 4 mana. So it is a 4 mana 2/2, which can be problematic. All right, needs help.
Yeah, it's sitting in play, fragile, dies to anything at that point. Can't block. You're not going to want to block with it or attack with it until you're able to trigger it. So I don't know. Still think it's going to be good. Like I think I'm going to play it in every blue deck and be pretty happy with it. So I'm going to give it a B-. I could be off like in every direction with this card.
In every direction, yeah.
It could be a fucking A+ for all. I have no idea. It could be an F. I don't know.
I need to play with this set to know, but it's I'm at least on a B- or a B. But really, it could go any direction. I'm not sure where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Let's start it as a B- for us for now.
Okay,
Gonna be a little bit safer. I kind of want to give it a B. My heart wants to give it a B+, but you gotta be careful with 4 mana 2/2s.
Yep. All right. Next card, Sphinx of Forgotten Lore. I'll read it. Scroll it down. Here, I love this card. Blue 2, flash flying. When it attacks, target instant or sorcery card you gains flashback equal to its mana cost. So it's kind of a twist on Snapcaster Mage, right? I don't know, this is just a bomb to me. It's not. It's like at rate for a flash 4-drop flying 3/3, but it's just gonna be able to flashback removal every turn, card draw, whatever it is you need. It's also not exposing itself the first time most of the time because it has flash. So you can play it. Your opponent plays their 4-drop, you play this, untap, flashback your removal spell, kill it, and then they have to answer it. So this is I'm just gonna give it an A. It's probably more like an A-, but I like it so much I'm giving it an A.
Doesn't need to attack. You don't need to have instant sorceries in your graveyard. Doesn't work well with terrors though.
Yeah, it's a bit of a non-bow with terror, I guess. But
it feels like there's.
But it's a non-bow with terror, but it is very good in the terror decks, so it's not really an issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Like this is a better payoff than terror. So.
The thing I'm a little bit worried about is it feels like the worst things you're gonna be getting flashbacking are the blue spells.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's blue.
There's some decent ones, but again, they're uncommons and whatnot.
Yeah. Like it's nice to 1 mana draw a card, that's cool. The 4 mana to Uncharted Voyage is nice to get back. I don't think it's a bomb.
Oh, it's bomb for me.
I think I'm just gonna give it a B+. it's a great card. It's you need to invest mana there, and you do need to attack, right? You do need to attack. You do need to. They could maybe block it, but you need to have sorceries and instants that you want to cast in your graveyard. Sometimes the random one is gonna mess up your curve, but you can play this like later on or something. It's a really good card. I'm gonna start as a B+. I think see it going to an A grade. But like if you're gonna cast back one.
One thing about this card too that I'll point out is the instant speed interaction that kills this is extremely expensive in this set. It's like bake into the pie, and red you have to like kick or burst lightning or whatever.
It's 5 mana.
There's just not that many ways to efficiently
White is 5.
break this thing.
A braid is in the set, right?
Oh, is a braid in this set or is it in the? I forget. If it is it's an uncommon, right?
I don't think it's a common, right? There's no way
Yeah.
braid is a common in this set.
Yeah.
But that's an uncommon. Yeah, the thing is like, why do I not give it the bomb grading? So first thing, it needs to, you need to attack with it. No ETB right away. The stats are not good. Yeah, the stats are not good. That's it. For the 2 and a blue, they're like, it's okay. Then hopefully, hopefully they're not going to have any blockers. So that needs checks. Nothing is that hard with it. But again, if you attack just once with it, it's really good, but not that incredible. You need to do multiple turns, and I really actually don't think it's ever gonna go to a bomb grading. I think it's gonna be amazing, one of the best cards in your deck, but I don't think it's. They have time to react to it as well. That's how it feels to me. All right, we got Archmage of the Runes.
Oh, what grade did you give it? I was waiting for your grade.
Oh, I gave it a B+. I said it a few times.
Okay. All right.
B+.
I didn't-
Archmage of Runes.
I was just doing about how bad you think it is. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't think it's bad. I think it needs a lot of checks to actually get into that. Oh, that this is a bomb for me.
Yeah, this one's crazy.
Yeah, this one is different. It's
It's a lot more, a lot more sturdy.
the Archmage of Runes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 mana. Oh, sorry, 5 mana, double blue, 3 and a 6. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card, but all of them cost 1 less to cast. So I guess for the nice thing is you don't have to attack with it. Nice thing with the Sphinx is it has flash, and you don't have to have any of them in your hand. Like it's even better if you don't, right?
Yeah.
This one, you need to have them in your hand, but it's real. It's good. It's like it's good. This is with flashback as well. So some things have flashback. I don't think this is a bomb again.
Yeah.
You think it's a bomb? It is a
Not
5-drop.
quite. So it also has it doesn't say may draw a card either. So if you really go deep and your decks are real like dense enough that this card is going to be absolutely disgusting, you're also threat light, right? So
Yeah.
you may actually struggle to win the game. Is one thing I'm concerned with. It shouldn't be a big issue.
Yeah, I
but
don't think it's gonna be a
could
big
come
issue.
up, but,
I think
it's not quite a bomb. It's still an A- for me. I don't know. That's B+, A-. I go between the two. I'm giving it an A-. Like I can't imagine this card performing poorly.
I'm gonna be on a B+. Same. It's beautiful, but also needs help from other things from your hand. And I don't think May is that big of a problem. Like, it was more problematic with. This is a 5-drop as well. That's why I'm not giving it an A grade. It's gonna come in a bit later in the game, and it's very hard to double spell with this one.
Yeah.
But what was the name of the 3 mana? It was the Visionary, or the 3 mana Eerie draw card, 3 mana 2/3 in Duskmourn.
3-minute Eerie draw card. No, I don't remember. I don't even know what card you're talking about. I'm trying to remember.
3 mana 2/3 flash. Whenever you play enchantment, you draw a card. Whenever you
Entity Tracker.
Entity Tracker, yeah.
Yeah.
That one, I actually had 2 of them 2 times in my decks, and Yeah, sometimes that's where it was a little bit easier, I think, to overdraw. Because blue also had amazing card draw. In this set, blue doesn't have that good of a card draw. So I think this is gonna be no problem, almost no problem.
Keep in mind, you don't need to have the cards in your hand. You can have think twice in your graveyard.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Ward would sell this to me much more. Like if it had some good
Yes,
board.
that's true. That is true. A Ward 2 on this or something would make it crazy.
I could see this going down from a B plus, depending how the set plays out. Like if it's gonna be a bit hard to play spells.
I think I don't think I'm ever going to take a common over this. So
All right, we're gonna see.
the best commons will be Bs, right?
Do you have to go or do you want to finish the rares?
We can finish. Let's just try to do it a little bit.
Okay.
We only have like 2 or 3 cards, right? Yeah, let's just do it.
Less discussion, more about random things. Let's go.
All right, Curative Densities. I like this card too. This spell can't be. It's blue for 4 for a 5/5 flyer that cannot be countered. When it enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library, separate them into a face down pile and a face up pile. An opponent chooses one, and you put that into your hand. Put that into your hand, and the other one goes in your graveyard. So just a nice value creature, can't be countered. Not perfectly sized, but 5/5 flyer for 6 is kind of what you expect out of a rare that's going to draw you a couple cards, right? So it's not like a super bomb or anything, but this is a very solid top end finisher. I don't know. As far as rating, it's a B plus for me.
I think this is better than the last 2 cards.
You think this is better than the last 2 cards?
Yes.
Am I reading this wrong? Have them into a face down pile and file. I don't think so.
It's also just, face down and a face up pile, right?
Yeah, it's 5 cards. Like I'm just gonna say it as you're drawing 2 cards, and I mean the opponent chooses one of the piles, put that pile into your hand. That's kind of the problem I have with it, is that pile stuff is not really that easy to get. It does. One good thing about it is it's going to enable threshold too, which does give it some value. But it's not Fact or Fiction; it's the other one, right? It's like the new version of Fact or Fiction.
Yeah, I don't remember the other one, but this mini game is one of my favorite mini games in Magic.
Yeah, yes, it's fun to do. I just don't think it's as powerful as. I mean, what did I have the other card as? A minus, yeah.
I'm giving it an A minus, even though it's a 6.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. I'm giving it a B plus. It's not. Yeah, we're splitting hairs here. Like if it cost, if it was a 5 drop and it did 4 cards or something, I would be much happier with it. But 6 mana is just a lot.
And I love bluffing with this. It's
yeah. That the mini game is fun. It is fun.
Yeah. So sometimes you show them like 2 cards that are pretty nice, and then the 3 cards that are pretty nice, and then or 2, and the other cards are not that good. They're lands maybe, and you can get those if there's not like specifically one card you want. It's really cool. Anyways, next up, Extravagant Replication for 4 and double blue. Enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Create a token that's a copy of another target non-land permanent you control. Wait, okay.
Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting card.
Interesting card, man. 6 mana to nothing until your upkeep, and it's a target, so they can like instant speed removal fucks up 2 of your turns, and you paid 6.
Yeah.
But it does get you there if you are able to survive.
I don't know. I don't see myself taking this guy. It is a nice engine card, I guess, but I don't see taking it very highly.
This is a trap, I think. I'm gonna be fucking playing it every time I get it, at least in the first few weeks.
Yeah. It's a card I'm gonna explore or whatever, but I suspect it's gonna be worse than I want it to be, and it's just because, like what you said, there's enough instant speed stuff to kind of blow it out.
But it is a trap. It is a trap. I don't think it's very good.
It is inevitability in a can if they can't interact with it. But it's not. It's too expensive at not doing anything. I don't know. I'm gonna give it
a C.
I'm gonna give it a D plus. But I don't know. It could be a fucking bomb. I don't know. Like if the set was slow enough, it would be.
If set is slow enough, right? Yeah. In original Dominaria, a bomb.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm comparing this to original Dominaria so much. I feel like it has some similarities.
There's a lot of reprint cards.
Yeah, a lot of reprints, not similarities. Yeah, a lot of reprints. That's more probably.
What are you gonna give it?
C or a C minus? I'm gonna believe and give it a C minus.
All right. We got Time Stop up next. I'm preemptively filling out one of these cards. The next one. Time Stop, blue 4, end the turn, instant. Interesting card. I love playing with this card because it's fun, but it's too inefficient. It's just not that good. Yeah, like
opponent doesn't draw a card,
the
right?
thing is, it's not even like a time walk because they get to untap, right? So you can't even like,
Yep.
you can't even be like, oh well, you know, you're at 14 and you thought you were safe because I'm only dealing you 7. Haha, time walk, you're dead. They untap their mana.
Yep.
So you go untap your mana and then in their creatures, and then you all of a sudden you can't. So it's significantly worse, though it does play as a counterspell.
It's a counterspell, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a 6 mana counterspell, right? So I don't know. I'm just gonna give it a
D minus. D.
I want to give it a D, but it's probably a D minus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a D as well, I guess. I also think it's maybe a D minus. You can stop their card draw. You do stop their card draw, right? The card draw doesn't.
I'm gonna be a grown up and give it a D minus. That's my.
Yeah, let's give it a D because it's kind of fun to play. Omniscience, 10 mana. You may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. Once you pay 10, you already cast all your spells, and you can cast every one you draw. So this is basically 10 mana, lose a card. Period.
And it also says from your hand. You can't even flashback things. You can't play this and then just start chaining off all your think twices.
Never in limited.
Yeah, never playing it. This is a
F.
Get this card printed more for, I guess, I don't know, whatever.
It stays in constructed until what, 2029, the foundation set?
Yeah, all right. I found the card that we did, the Elementalist Adept. That was the card that we missed. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
no, it's okay. Elementalist Adept
was that the 2/1?
That was a 2/1 with Flash Prowess. I gave it a C.
Yeah,
because blue doesn't have better 2-drop, so that's gonna be the one.
Yeah, I think I said C is about what I had, C or C plus or something for me. C or C minus rather is what I think I had. I'll just give it C.
All right, you gotta go, right?
Yes, I do. I have to go. Unfortunately, I have something to do. Went a little later. We'll finish this tomorrow.